They crossed.
Maybe because I waited too long to actually hit the go live button, it just messed up. And going to YouTube. Yep. All right, we're there.
Good.
I'll put my phone on mute and actually watch it.
Why can't I see it?
We're good. Yeah. So, uh, oh man, we're muted. Welcome to Living by Oak Values. I'm Rob, and I host this podcast with my friend Gary, the Superior Mailman. We will guide you through aligning your actions with your core beliefs. And we're excited to share our stories and insights and values that guided our lives. Whether you're a longtime listener or new here, welcome. Check out Northman Coaching for your free toolbox updates. Let's dive in. Happy listening.
Happy anniversary, Rob.
Yeah, happy anniversary. And today we are going to talk about our 1 year mark and why the values matter more than ever. Now that we've been doing this for a year.
Yes, we are.
All right.
So 1 year, 52 episodes in. And before we get into talking about all of that stuff, you do know that only 2% of new podcasts make it 1 year?
No, I didn't.
2%.
Mm,
So we are top tier right now.
awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's nice. So, way back in what was it, May 2024? Tell the listeners how we got started. Why
Well,
did
we
this
started,
crazy idea jump in your head?
I don't even know how it jumped in my head. Do you know?
Actually, I don't know. I
You know what?
don't.
I do know. It started because I was doing the TikTok shorts on the values.
Yes.
And so
And
those are gone now, but they were pretty much a just a short version of each episode, I guess. Except it
yes.
was just me.
Yes.
So and then we decided to go more in depth because I only could do it for a minute per video.
Yep.
So we decided to go more in depth and come up with a podcast.
Yeah, and we were going to use the podcast as extra material for the Oak value cards.
Yes.
So the the and if you don't know what the Oak value cards are, Gary's holding up a box,
There we go.
and inside that box are like predefined values, and you go through 68 of them, I think it is.
68 values with
Yeah.
4 blank cards to put your own value on in case
hmm
your value or one of your core values is not in the box.
And as I was going back and listening, I and if you want to know more about these values and how they came about, listen to episode 1 of our podcast. It does a really good job about how they came about, how powerful it is to have these in your hands, and even a year later, they're just as powerful as almost day one, or even
Yeah.
more powerful because they're upfront and we're talking about them constantly.
Yeah.
Um,
It's funny because while we were discussing this, prepping for this episode, I had said, and I think you agreed that episode 1 was probably pretty awful because we were brand new.
mhm.
And as the last 2 days, I've been going through all of them, and I believe you have as well. And episode 1 was actually really good.
Yeah, it was.
So, in fact, it's one of our.
Especially, oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think it's one of our better ones.
Yeah, especially if people want to know about how to find your values and why we are doing what we're doing. Episode 1 is definitely where you begin. It was like, wow, this is a good advertisement for these cards. Why we did these cards. So,
Absolutely.
um, go ahead.
I was about to ask you, what was your thoughts on the first episode? Like
I liked it.
but
Uh,
what were your fears?
my my biggest fears is we're just spinning our wheels doing nothing.
Okay.
Um, I actually didn't anticipate learning as much as I did learn. Um, I was more like, oh, this will be a lesson in frugality, more or less. I'll get
Yep.
some experience, but it just isn't going to do anything. It isn't going to get off the ground, blah 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 blah.
Right.
So,
I kind of had the same thoughts. It wasn't probably going to get off the ground. I didn't think we would. Well, when we started, I had every intention of getting through the entire deck
hmm.
at some point. But then as we started doing it, I wasn't really sure. We were slow off the get to get followers, but that slowly picked up and continues to pick up every week. Uh, yeah, so I didn't think we would make it.
I didn't think we were going to be as good a
Mhm.
year out. As
Yeah.
I told you earlier today, I was like, wow, some of these were actually very good episodes. I
Hmm.
went back and listened to them, and I don't really like hearing my voice, but turning around and going back and listening to the episodes, it was like, wow, I thought we were going to be bad. I was like,
Hmm.
nobody's going to listen to us a second go round. It's not like one of those, oh, I listened to the podcast, I'm done.
Right.
I didn't think I would be listening to my own episode
Right.
and,
I hear
and
you.
even getting information from it. So yeah, it was a difficult moment.
Yes,
So
absolutely was.
um, and I guess learning is what really sets it apart. It's almost like I didn't anticipate to learn more about each individual value.
Hmm.
And then that's what this was. It was also that learning experience. There wasn't just, we're just delving into a value. This is what this value is. But we also learned and grew together about this value.
Yeah.
Each episode got better and better. So,
And so when I first started doing the TikTok shorts, I was just pretty much going over the value, the definition, and how it applied to my life.
hmm.
And when we started doing the podcast together and we're doing the research on the value, we got so much more insight and information. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So,
So, jumping down to section two, what are your top three favorite episodes from the year? So, you got 51 to choose from.
my top three are the Pinocchio episode, which was
Mm.
what was that about?
Um, Becoming a man,
Yeah,
identity.
what was the value?
Not
Integrity, integrity.
no.
No, individuality,
Individuality.
individuality.
Yes.
Yes. So that was number one of my top. Um, faith
Mm-hmm. My camera just went out.
is blurry.
I know. I don't know what happened. There it goes.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I don't know. So I have Pinocchio, faith, and I think I want to say family with Kevin Snow as a guest.
Ah, yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
That was a very powerful one.
How about
Mine
yours?
was Iron John.
Okay.
I definitely enjoyed that episode.
What was that value?
Uh, I think it was Independence.
Okay.
I'll actually have to go back and look. I listened to it yesterday, but growth was another one, and oh shoot, I just listened to it today. I forgot what the um I didn't write it down. I wrote it down and I left the paper at work.
Man, you're as bad as me.
I am as bad as you. Um,
Well, think about it, and I'm gonna take one step back. So, the question we had on the top part was looking back. What value do you think that you had to grow into the most this year?
Gratitude. Son of a biscuit. See,
Oh, and I
that
think that
was
was a good
my
one for you.
that was mine. Yeah,
Okay,
that was mine. That was the
I'm
next
glad I
one.
asked the question then.
I'm glad you did because that was the episode because gratitude was the most important one because the
Yes.
week leading up to that one and learning about what gratitude was and you going through and questioning me on why aren't you grateful, blah 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 blah. Even listening to that episode, I was like, wow, that's right. I learned a lot about being grateful. And that one episode really changed a lot of who I was.
Okay. Do
So yeah.
you want to share with the listeners how that episode changed or changed you?
Well, no, they need to go back and listen to the episode.
Oh,
That would
fair
be the
enough.
best thing because
Yeah.
it
Okay.
is a very good episode, a very
Fair enough.
powerful episode.
Okay.
I'll give you episode number though if you want the episode number. And while we're doing that, go ahead and tell them what you episode changed you the most.
Well, I think it was probably faith,
Mm,
because I assumed that that was a religious thing. And as we delved into, faith in the government and faith in schools and faith in just people around you, uh, it went a lot deeper than I thought it would.
yeah.
I'm still not sure that I have faith in all those things, but whatever.
Yep. Yeah, faith was one that it took a turn on us. And I
Hmm.
didn't anticipate it because I even remember we were talking about how we didn't want it to be very religious. And it actually didn't come out to be as religious as we thought.
No,
And
not at all.
speaking of faith, in that particular episode, we talked about how the post office, you have faith in the post office. And
Yep.
yet, what did you mail me that didn't show up?
Yeah. So let's take one step back. I was gonna hit that one later, but we have
All
these
right.
awesome shirts that were made by Off the Hook in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and Rob has his share of shirts. Well, I have his share, and I sent him two through the wonderful USPS with expected delivery date of yesterday, and they are currently sitting in New Jersey.
Yeah, they didn't make it far.
So yeah, faith in USPS. Sorry, not really there.
Yeah, I listened to that one yesterday and I was also like, wow, that hasn't changed much.
Nope,
So,
that has probably gotten worse over the last year, but whatever.
uh,
So Rob, if your grandkids listen to this podcast one day, what do you hope they learn about you?
actually, I was so grateful that I listened to the credibility episode
Okay, and why is that?
because we actually discussed this in details of our legacy that we leave behind and how much we have to take responsibility for what we do and leaving that legacy takes work, constant growth, constant work, and you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to be around other guys and stuff. And so I really want my grandkids and stuff to know that I was benevolent and a great man.
Okay,
And that episode really does do a good job of going through that.
gotcha.
How about you?
Um, hmm. Well, I hope that they will listen and just understand that I was a man who lived by his values, who stuck to his beliefs and aligned everything that he did with his beliefs. It's crazy, actually, just talking about that. Everything that we're doing, we're building a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like life insurance.
Yeah.
We keep putting into it, and we're not going to see anything from this. Like, this is going to be for our kids, and just hopefully someday, we'll men will be in a better place where we won't be so shut down, and they can say, well, it's thanks to Northman coaching, thanks to the Oak values. So yeah, I guess that's what I hope for one day.
And it says one value you want us to talk about next year that we really didn't fully touch on.
And what is that one? I know exactly what it is.
Well, you tell me.
Oh,
Because we have 21 values left.
yeah, and the value that we're going to talk about next year or next season, which starts next week, season 2, is a value that's not even in there. And we discussed it, and I don't know what episode it was, but we discussed that we were going to have a whole episode on it, and it is emotional intelligence.
Yes. Actually, that is a good one. That
Mm-hmm.
is a very good one.
Yes.
I'm typing it in.
I don't know why you're doing that, but whatever.
Oh,
Whatever.
so the podcast is now converted over to a vodcast, video, etc., etc. So for this year, what does living by oak values look like to you?
For this past year,
This our episode, we only have 21 values left plus that one, 22. What are we going to do once we hit the end of our values?
well, I was still going to have conversations about whether they are friends or family that want to discuss, or guests come on and discuss, stories that revolve around core values,
Mm-hmm.
stories that we can share that go around core values. If we have any clients that want to come on and talk about how their life has changed because of these values, then they are more than welcome. So that is so. Instead, it'll be. I'm hoping that we can do, 1 week of me and you, 1 week me, you, and a guest. We can go back and forth where we can, teach or whatever we're doing, and then the following week will be have a guest so that the listeners don't have to hear our voice the whole time.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I mean, we don't like our own voices, so they probably don't like it either.
Actually, like I said, I went back and listened to a slew of them, and
Yeah,
you'd think you wouldn't like your own voice, but the content was very good, and
it was.
so
I agree. We definitely
we,
put our heart and soul into it. We worked our butts off to get what we have, and I can honestly say that I'm very proud of what we did as a team, and I
mm-hmm,
love every bit of it. So,
yeah, and so doing these podcasts,
mhm.
how does it make you a better man, father, or friend? Or has it made you a better father or friend?
It absolutely has. Um, it has made me a better father by actually living by these values. Like, so when I was doing the TikTok shorts, I had the gist of the value, but doing
Mm,
this work with you, we went so deep into each and every value that I can say that I truly live these values, and I live them with
mm,
my daughter. So she sees that I am a man of my values.
mm.
What was your other question? So, as a father, as what?
Well, like as a father, a friend, a leader, a partner, a boyfriend, etc. How has it? Because
That's actually a good one because go to the boyfriend thing. So obviously I'm divorced, and then I started dating again shortly after my divorce, and it was okay. But now that I live by these values, I can give room to breathe. I feel like I'm a
mm,
good boyfriend. You'd have to ask my girlfriend that one. But I feel like, I give her what she needs emotionally. So I think my relationship, I know that my relationships are better now than they were.
yeah. So, like I said, I think I actually learned how to have deeper, more connected relationships.
Okay.
And it is through learning these values, learning to have less resentment, learning that, hey, growth is constant. It's not a destination, I think is
Yeah.
what we said.
Yep. It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, a journey, not a destination. And so I'm building these better relationships like a good foundation for a house.
Sure. Yeah.
So it is a much better quality of life doing all
Yes.
this and learning all this work.
I completely agree with you on that one.
All right. And then
What question you on? 9 or 10? Oh, you
I'm
passed 10,
I'm
by the way.
past 10. Yeah, we're
Gotcha.
down at number
Yep.
4 with the listener shout outs. Highlight a few powerful um listener messages, testimonies, or even disagreements.
Hmm. So for me, I think that the highlight for guests, I guess, listener message. We haven't had a lot of listener messages because we haven't been live.
Hmm.
So, but for a guest, I'll make it guests that we've had. I think that Dan Frisch was definitely a huge guest.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, Kevin Snow was on twice. He did very well.
Yes.
Um, we just recently had AJ Bulldog, and he did really well.
Mhm.
My brother and his friend were on. I know we've had a lot more guests. I can't think of who off the top of my
Lily.
head.
You did
Lily, my
Lily.
bad,
She
and
was
and
very
Jen.
good. Yeah, Jen and Aurora. They're
Yep.
very good.
Or yep.
Uh, yeah.
I think I took the most information from Dan and Jenna and Aurora.
Mm, yeah.
So
They had some good little stories. And if anyone out there that's listening to this wants to share your story or you have a powerful message, reach out to us. Let us know that you want to be on the podcast or vodcast. We're now doing video.
yes.
It doesn't take much. Just DM us and say, "Hey, I want to be on there." It's usually only 20 to 30 minutes. So
Oh, and
share your story. Oh, go ahead.
speaking of DMing us, few changes. So since the beginning of this whole journey, we started off being committed to sharing these values with our
Hmm.
children, and now we are devoted. And
Yes.
we also changed it from Gary at Northman Coaching and Rob at Northman Coaching to what is it now?
Gary at Northman Coach. Yep.
Gary at Northman Coach
Yeah. Dot at Gmail.
at Gmail. So yeah,
Yes.
so email has changed. Our opening has changed. We are growing.
Yeah. And everything should be correct on the website, northmancoaching.com.
Yes.
Yeah. You can send us, I don't, yeah, we might have to make a like contact form or something. Reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've
Um,
already asked the question, which value hit you the hardest in real life? And you said gratitude, right?
oh yeah, it was
Okay,
gratitude. Definitely gratitude. That one
gotcha.
hit me the hardest. How about you?
It was
Oh,
faith.
faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So which one do you want to lean more into next year? Is there any values that you want to really get into for yourself?
I hadn't even checked the list, tell you the truth.
Well, you don't need the list,
I
man.
honest the truth, you just said the emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
That is something I struggled with because as a guy, most of us are not very emotionally
we're not
adept.
emotional or intelligent.
So that's definitely one that I'm looking forward to working on.
Okay.
And yeah, that's something much harder to do.
Yeah. But it's funny because I actually forgot that we said we were going to do a whole episode on that until today when I was re-listening to all of them.
Yeah.
And we went to a lot of bullet points on that. And we said we were going to do a whole episode on that. So we'll start working that one for season 2.
Yep. Yeah. Hold on, let me go down.
Are there any guests you're looking forward to getting next year? Or that you would like to have on here?
I enjoy listening to people's stories.
Me too.
So anybody's willing to share an episode.
Okay.
that has impacted their life, especially. So,
So we did send out some feelers or messages, and there are two that I would love to get on here next year that are famous, I guess, or sort of famous, and that would be I can't think of his name. Who's the cowboy?
Dry Creek Wrangler.
Yes, Dry Creek Wrangler, and I would also love to get. Wow, I am having a brain fart right now. The guy from Virginia,
Nick Freitas?
Nick Freitas. Yes,
Oh, really? Okay.
yes, those two would be amazing guests. I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, where do guests go from here?
Where do they go from here?
Well, they go to our live, but they can also go to our Facebook page, Northman Legacy Crew. And
Yes.
we keep that where it's like updated information. This is what's going to happen next. If you want to find out more, go to our
Yep.
Facebook group page. Group. It's a group. Facebook group. Northman Legacy Crew.
Yes. And also, we're going to have new classes coming up this year,
Mm-hmm.
and we are working on some live events, not just the podcasting. We're working on doing finding and figuring out how to do a summit in 2026. What else do we have going on? Oh, working on courses.
Yes.
Still doing one-on-ones.
If you want to pick up a set of cards, they're on our website.
I don't know if you can see that very well from here.
Yeah, there's a shop button on our website if you want to pick up a set of cards. Any other merchandise we pick up, yeah. Working
And
on
for our anniversary, if you pick up the cards this week, if you buy one, I'll give you one, so you can give one to a friend or whatever. So that's unplanned. That's from me to you. Whoever wants to order this week only, you order one, I'll give you two.
Also, know that we do the video live on Tuesdays at 7, but then we turn around and post it Friday morning for people to listen to on the podcast platforms, just the audio.
Yes.
So you're welcome to check out all of our YouTube content or go back and listen to the podcast on your platforms. So the main thing I think is we spent a year building something real. This is us. This is who we are. And like Gary always says, is we're just getting started. You're
We are.
welcome to walk this journey with us, and we're starting year 2, and we're going to start being rooted deeper and reaching higher.
Absolutely. And so I always want to throw out the values for today are gratitude, because I am grateful for everything that you have thrown into this, and faith are two favorites for the this year, I guess.
The year.
Faith in, because I put all my faith into you and into myself. I can actually say that I went all in and bet on myself and you, and I came out a winner. So I hope that you feel like a winner as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right, folks.
So, yeah, that's all I got. Real quick, so if you guys want these cards this week only, buy one, I'll give you one. And if you're interested in these shirts, let me know, and we'll figure something out on that one too. Yeah. And if you want one, Rob, you'll have to wait for the USPS to figure that one out.
Man, they're bad. They're bad. So. All right, folks, and that's a wrap. Thank you for hanging out with us today. If you got thoughts or want to dive deeper, contact us. Let us know. Share your story. Snag a free session with northmancoaching.com. Oh, and why not be a guest on the show? Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. And join us next week for another inspiring episode. Did you say we were going to kick off emotional intelligence next week?
I think we're kicking it off. We're going to do it. We got to work that one out. That's going to be a little while.
Until then, keep embracing your values and stay authentic.
Excellent. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.